Yes.
Good evening, being 7 p.m., September 10th, 2024. I'm going to be opening up the Halifax Conservation Commission meeting. I just want to announce that the conservation meeting is being recorded by Area 58 and can be viewed on YouTube. Members present, Mr. Lane, Alan Diaz, and Paul Doucette. First matter on our agenda is 8 Hill Lane roadway. I just need to take a minute. We had discussed this last week as far as the Hill Lane projects, and it was brought to my attention today that the applicant is requesting for the DEP file number SC 1710574, which is the Hilda Lane roadway, an extension to the 24th. Does the board have any issues with that? I did send them a letter saying that there'd be no further continuances. I believe there has been some new information received, so I would be inclined to grant that if the board so chooses. If that's the
I don't
case.
have a problem with that. You can have a question after.
Okay, just hold on a
Yep.
second.
Yep.
Okay.
Before you say that.
Okay, so what I'm asking for is a motion in a second, and then, okay, I'm gonna motion.
Motion
Okay, that's a motion to continue.
to the
Well,
20th.
you can second that.
Yep.
Okay, and what we're gonna do is we'll open that for discussion, okay? And if you have any comments, just go to the microphone. Bear in mind,
This is
any
the-
comments are strictly on the continuance.
Yes,
There's nothing on the application itself,
okay.
okay? Just
I-
identify yourself for the record.
Yep. Diane Bradford, 131 Hayward Street. We have been here time and time again when it hasn't been, no notice that they weren't coming to the meetings. On the 24th, we will be away in another country for a wedding. I'm asking that we ask that it postpone 2 more weeks so we can be here and hear it. We've been here every step of the way, probably more than they have. And I think it's only fair that you continue it till 2 more weeks after that.
Okay, anything else?
Okay.
I might have a problem with that, only because of the time frame. Let me just, I'm not sure how to work this calendar. Anybody have a better calendar? I'm not too good on a smartphone. Unfortunately, the maximum we can continue is 21 days. So if someone's got a calendar, I'll see how that falls. Anything like 10?
That's 10 days. The 30th would be 20 days. The 1st, which would be a Tuesday, October, would be 21 days.
21 days is October 1st.
Okay.
Right.
We're not meeting October 1st. I don't believe, I can look at the schedule.
No, it's the
No,
second.
it's the second.
Is there a way we
What I
can,
will do is this, all right? I have your comments from last time. We'll send a letter to the applicant, suggesting that your concerns, that they will have to agree to continue. But I'll try to do that right away. Peggy's not gonna be in for a few days. It's up to the applicant.
Okay, so I'm gonna write letters about all 3 of the projects and state that this is why, I think the abutters need to be here, because it is a big problem, this whole development. And that if issues are
Okay,
gonna
just, if
be,
you, why don't you just go, okay.
I will be, Diane Bradford, I'll be writing a letter about all 3 of the projects on Hilda Lane. I do believe that the abutters are approving that we cannot be there. It's, we've been here ever since, we've given good reasons, and you can go and read all our letters and stuff. That's gonna take probably the whole night. But I don't really want, and I don't think, where I'm showing concern, that anything should be voted on until we can come back as a person.
Okay. Your concerns be duly noted. Unfortunately, I can only go 21 days. I will send a letter to the applicant noting your concerns. If they agree, then we're okay. If they don't agree, unfortunately, I can't change it. Those are the rules.
So you can go ahead, even though I've expressed concerns, and vote on it without me being there. Can I send somebody in, get a notary signed and somebody be here from my family?
You can
Just
send,
speak.
you can send anyone, anybody that wants to come in, can come in. That's not a problem.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I have in this folder your other letters, so yeah, anything you want to address if you can't be here. I mean, I probably won't know until next week whether or not they want to extend it any further. But, yeah, you can send anybody you want. Or we'll read, I mean, I'm happy to read all your concerns to the director.
Okay. When did
Okay.
you know tonight wouldn't be said?
When I just got here.
Okay.
This is my agenda from earlier. And then when I just got in, I noticed on this agenda, on my administrative notes, continue the next meeting. So that's when I found out. Okay. We have a motion and a second. I'm gonna go to a vote. That vote would be to extend the 8 Hilda Lane roadway project until our next meeting, which is gonna be 9/24. We got a second, I got a motion and a second.
Yep, yes.
Yes, Alan Dish, yes, Paul, yes. That's continued to 9/24. Our next matter on the agenda is 8 Hilda Lane, map 120, lot 2T, DEP file number SE 1710579. Gentlemen, I have a letter to withdraw this particular application by mutual agreement. So I would be looking for a motion to accept the withdrawal without prejudice. If you want, I'll make the motion.
You can make the motion.
I'll make the motion to accept the withdrawal without prejudice for 8 Hilda Lane, SC 1710578. Do I have a second?
579.
I'm sorry.
No problem, I'll second that motion.
Okay, hold on.
DP 1710579.
Okay, I have the wrong one here. Okay, no, you got the wrong folder.
Okay, no problem.
Yes. So I made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll go to a vote. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next item on our agenda is 8 Hilda Lane, map 120 lot. I'm sorry. Hold on a second. Before I do that, I am going to need signatures on this. These are new forms, so. Yeah, it's not that, you can keep it. Next item on our agenda is, 8 Hilda Lane, map 120, lot 4T, DEP number SE 1710580. I have a letter to withdraw this application without prejudice. So I would make a motion to allow the withdrawal without prejudice.
I'll second that motion.
A second. We'll go to a vote. All in favor?
Yes.
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 Just so then, both of those have been withdrawn.
So it's just the road that,
Yeah, that's the only application we have pending.
we have to sign this, right?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can let go now.
Is something.
Okay, it is not right without prejudice.
Thank you for hearing us.
Yes.
Thank you to bring it to our attention.
Yes. Okay, next item on our agenda, let me make sure there's no changes here, is 105 Palmer Mill Road. I believe there's a letter for an extension on this one. That would be 105 Palmer Mill Road, DEP number SE 1710581. We have in the file a letter requesting that the continuance to the next public hearing, which would be 9/24. Anybody have any questions or concerns? Okay, just so that you know, we're working with some of these little projects, and there's been some issues with the review on that particular project, and that's why it's being continued.
Want me to put the motion?
Sure.
Put a motion to continue 105 Palmer Mill Road to the 24th?
One second.
Second.
Okay, we'll go to the vote, all in favor?
Yes.
Three,
Yes.
Alan? Yes. Okay. Move on. We are gonna go to, we're gonna go to peer review ecosystems. This is all with 105 Palmer Mill Road. I am going to be looking, as the board knows, we've had some issues with the Palmer Mill Road application and the review fees. I don't know if you've gotten all the emails. There's going to be a second proposal.
That's just for a different, but. We
Yeah,
looked at
okay,
105, yeah.
The second proposal went out for the additional review fees and consultation fees based on the restoration plan, which they want to include in the notice of intent. So I would be looking for a vote, and I'll make the motion to resend the second proposal to the applicant based on the fact that it's going to be a notice of intent inclusive of the restoration plan. I'll make that motion.
Second that motion?
All in favor?
Aye.
So it's just on the letter out. Second item under our, under this matter is the enforcement order. We discussed the enforcement order. This is on lot 11. The previous application was on lot 12. The board directed me to send some letters out last week. If you want to take a look at the folder. You can take a quick look at that. Sent out 2 letters that were sent out, and there has been no response. So I want to see what the board, what direction the board wants to go into. Take a minute to look at that. Let me take a look at it.
Mr. Chairman, is these the same people who were here last week?
Yes. This, just so that you're aware, this is the lot next door.
Yeah.
This was not the notice of intent. We'll take a look at that. Those are the letters that we sent out. There was a clerical mistake on the first letter, so she had the wrong amount, so she sent an additional letter. First class mail in Civic. That's okay.
That's,
I'm- I
265. You want the 105 information?
We'll leave this one at 265. This could be for both. Let's see if he wants that one. Okay, at this point, the board's gonna have to make a decision on how to proceed. The conversation was last week or a couple of weeks ago, do we issue 21D fines to try to get some compliance? The only other option is to go to town council, so, I don't know if anybody's got any suggestions.
Do they plan on coming for the, about 105 next, I know we continued it. Are they gonna be here next meeting for 105?
They're going to be here next meeting. Like I say,
You
we've
can
sent
address-
we've sent the letters out, on the separate lot, multiple.
Times.
Yeah, so, it's kind of up to the board, you know, my opinion on 21D, you know, sometimes it's a tickler, sometimes you're gonna be more of a problem. We only have two alternatives. The project alone, we can issue 21D citations, or we can, go to town council and ask for some adjunctive relief, which is gonna be very expensive. I wouldn't wanna take that route. Do you wanna table it? Try to get you, Kathy involved, I feel she should be here next week.
Yeah,
You wanna table it?
yeah.
Okay, why don't we, why don't you make a motion to table the enforcement law?
I put a motion that we table the enforcement of, where's the?
It's lot 11,
Lot 11
lot 11 Palmer.
on Palms.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye, 3-0. 265 Mount Constant Street. Mr. Eskridge.
Good evening.
Okay. This brings up the date, because we have too many 265s and 6s, so this is the big project you requested a continuance to us.
Yes, yep.
Okay. Where are we?
I submitted the form to Peggy yesterday or the day before. I signed off on the extension for time to act and gave the commission an extra 30 days.
For 265, right?
265, correct?
Okay, I didn't see that, but that's been a lot of emails back and forth, so, unfortunately, again, on stormwater management, it's 21. So if you're not gonna be ready, we'll give you 21, and then you'll have to come back. I believe that's the maximum.
I'm ready, sir. That's the commission I'm waiting for to be ready. There's nothing else to submit or discuss.
Okay.
So you're waiting for the Board of Health to act, was the last conversation on 265.
Correct.
But,
So you wanna go to 20, I don't know where you're at with the Board of Health.
yeah, so 21 days is fine. Again, I think we can do 30, but that's fine. 21 days works.
You've got between wetlands protection and our bylaws, so
We're
you're looking
all,
at 21 days,
we're all
so.
doing the best we can.
Yes, okay, so let's go for 21 days.
Sure.
In the event, and then I'll double check it, but nobody will be in the office till next Monday. If we can go 30, we'll send you an email.
Okay.
Okay. I'd be looking for a vote to continue the stormwater management hearing for 265 Mount Ponce Street until 9/24.
That'd be 2 weeks. Right?
Yeah, but
That way they can continue from there.
yeah, because
Okay.
yeah, what happens is.
Yeah, because it's in between meetings.
Correct. Okay. I'll make that motion. Anybody want to second it?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Oh, I'm sorry, a question?
Oh, no,
Oh,
I was
sorry.
just twitching, sorry.
No twitching.
Ours is sitting in the front row.
Okay. I'm going to be real brief on these next one. Discussions and actions to be taken, stump brook cleanup. we've got some communications from National Wildlife Services from the state. They'd like to come in and talk to us about cleaning up Stump Brook. For those that don't know Stump Brook, it's from the dam in Hanson down to Elm Street. And that discussion has been continued to 9/24. I don't really need a vote on that, just to keep everybody aware. Okay, 266 Montponton Street, stormwater management permit.
Is this the one we closed the hearing or?
Yes, this is the one that we closed the hearing. And at this point, we need to vote. We need to make a vote. I do have some questions and issues on the order of conditions, but I don't think we're gonna need that at this point.
Any for the signatures?
Well, no, there won't be any signatures. We're a bit of ways on the order of conditions. So, I'm just gonna read the three options that the commission has. We voted to close, now we're gonna go to a vote. So the Stormwater Authority has three options. One, to approve the permit application and issue a permit, it finds that the proposed plan will protect water resources and meets the objectives and requirements of the stormwater management bylaw and these related regulations. Two, to approve a permit application and issue a permit with conditions, modifications, or restrictions that the Stormwater Authority determines are required to ensure that the project will protect water resources and meets the objectives and requirements of the stormwater management bylaw and those related regulations. Third would be to disapprove a permit and deny the permit if it finds that the proposed plan will not protect water resources or fails to meet the objectives and requirements of the stormwater management bylaw and these related regulations. Those are our three options. If you want to comment, then I'll get comments.
Yeah, I think we've discussed this a lot. Nothing came up within the last meeting, anything new, right, from anybody?
No, I haven't seen.
I think we should do option number 2 and possibly vote on the matter.
Any comments, and then we'll go to motion? Okay. Just so that Paul, you've sat in a bunch of the meetings
Yes, I
and
have.
watched the tapes.
I
So
have.
are you comfortable with making a decision?
I am.
Okay, you are. Okay. Based on that, I would be looking for a motion to approve the permit application and issue the permit with conditions. If you want, I'll move that, and if somebody wants to second it.
I'll second that motion.
Okay? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, 3-0.
Thank you very much.
Okay, don't leave.
Okay.
I just want to touch briefly on the conditions. I sent you an email, but it was,
I think I was,
it's okay.
I've been on the road for.
Yeah,
most of the
that's fine.
afternoon.
The next step in the process, gentlemen, this is new to me, and it's new to you all. We voted to approve it based on number 2, all right? In the order of conditions, we're gonna incorporate from Pat Brennan, the comments that he made. I just wanna point out that the plan date is 7/29/24. So anything after that, you're gonna have to refile. As part of the order of conditions, Steve Haywood made some additional comments, and my email to you was, Dave, that the highway surveyor reviewed the application. He would like you extend the no parking signs.
Yep, I've seen the plan, no objection to comply.
Okay. And we will take care of any issues with any neighbors.
Yep.
So as part of the conditions, we're gonna add Steve Haywood's comments. The other question I have is on Pat Brennan's standard conditions, and it's 3 pages, and I think they're reasonable conditions, is whether or not we're gonna need any contracts, or how we're gonna handle, the inspection fee through 52G, which we'll put in there. And also, I would like to make sure that the comments from 8/26/24, which includes the traffic management plan, grading runoff, and the silt sock, information be included in the order conditions. Okay. Okay. Having said that, I just want to point out that we did vet the application very well. I think the application meets all the bylaws and regulations. I think they've established that there's not going to be any increase in runoff in any adjacent properties. So I'm very comfortable in that vote. So having said that, at our next meeting, we'll send you out a copy of the conditions, and then you can make any comments. We'll try to get them out as soon as we can.
Great.
So if you got any comments.
All right, great. Well, the Board of Health issued their stormwater discharge permit, their sewage discharge disposal permit for 266, so we've kind of checked that box.
Okay.
I walked the perimeter with the PZs this evening, that's why I'm in my other pants. So that went well, so we have a good understanding as to the clear line of what trees he wants to keep and not, so that's good. And I heard you are getting an agent, so congratulations.
I didn't get that, geez, that's
Oh, I'm sorry, I got this, yeah. Okay, that'll be in the discussion.
I had a lot of meetings here today, so.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Alan, we don't sign anything today, we sign it next week with the conditions.
With the conditions,
Yeah.
that's probably gonna be a back and forth. Right now, I have, I'm sorry, I have three pages of conditions, and 2 pages of conditions, through Pat Brennan, which is basically, inspections, erosion control inspections, catch basin, bottom hole inspections.
So Dordike just has to overlook this to make sure everything's fine?
Yeah, everything, and he'll be monitoring all the progress. That'll be part of the conditions, and we might have to put a special order of conditions, which is going to be, the silt sock, and whatever else I mentioned. And there's a question too, we currently have, the order of conditions for stormwater on a WPA Form 5, which is the DEP form, which I don't think is applicable to this particular site. It might be applicable across the street. So we'll be working on that,
Okay,
all right?
understood.
And
All right.
we're gonna incorporate your plan, the traffic management plan in this.
Okay, all right, look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is 8th, 10th Avenue. We have a certificate of compliance to sign. Let me just bring up the date, I'll take it so. I'll bring up the date. This was a project that was started a few years ago. Back in 2019, I don't know when it was finished, but there was an issue that whoever had the project at that time did not file for a certificate of compliance. So they contacted the office, we spoke with them, requested an as-built plan and a letter certifying that the system was installed in compliance to Board of Health and the Wetlands Protection Act. I did a site inspection, everything seems to be fine. So I'd be looking for a vote to endorse the,
Certificate of compliance?
yes.
I put a motion that we, for 8 10th Ave, certified compliance, approval.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, you want a second?
I will second
All
it.
in favor?
Aye.
Appreciate
Right.
it. Okay, let's sign that. order of business in our discussions is 111 River Street. Ms. Jason? I'm gonna have you go to the microphone if you don't mind.
Sure. I am Susan Jason. I'm a licensed site professional with Weston and Sampson, here to represent the project 111 River Street, Lot 1C, for environmental investigation.
Obviously, I got a few questions.
Sure.
Working as both the chair and the health agent, we did have meetings with some UXO professionals that are currently working in the area. And one of the things that they suggested is that we get a quality assurance plan, a safety plan, and a health plan, or quality control plan. And more importantly, a safety plan. To date, I haven't seen any of that. And the other major issue that I have is, I believe at one of the meetings, you indicated that we need a variance request for you to work within the 50. And the office has not received the variance request. So it's your call at this point, because at this point, I don't have a variance request to.
Well, just a couple things. After the last meeting, we did provide the commission with, as well as the fire and police chiefs, with a draft. We recognize a safety plan is necessary and there needs to be a back and forth with town safety officials. A draft of a site-specific safety plan. I did speak with Chief Chavez last Friday and got some comments back and his thoughts and opinions on some things. I went ahead and modified that to a more concise document based on that discussion on Friday, and just issued that out today, both to the police chief, fire chief, and to your emails. You probably didn't have a chance to see it yet. But there is a safety plan in progress, along with comments received from the police. In terms of the variance, we did provide a letter to the town's consultant, Brandon Faniff, and that went out to your office a number of days ago. I have it here in my hand, I can tell you the date.
You sent it to who?
To Brandon, who forwarded it to you, the town's consultant.
I can tell you that as of
It was
today,
on September 4th, I believe.
as of in the business today, the office never received a variance request. Why would you send it to Brandon?
I don't know, because when we left the meeting, you asked him to follow up with us on the details.
To work together, yeah, I think we.
So he contacted us after the meeting to follow up on the request. There were several items on the list, that was one of them, along with an environmental monitoring plan. So those were forwarded out, along with additional draft language for an order condition related to the installation of monitoring wells. So all of the items were provided. I do understand that there needs to be some additional feedback on the safety plan, but we believe the commission could put an order in place stating that the safety plan needs to be developed and agreed upon prior to the start of work. The details of it are still in, communication with the town officials.
I can tell you personally, I'm not comfortable with that idea. I did not see, the office didn't receive the variance request, so I can't act on anything the office didn't receive.
Well, I don't have it, I can forward you the emails when I get back to mine.
Okay, you can do that, but all the emails should go to the office. Everything should go to the office, and she documents it. She would have put in our package the variance request.
Okay.
So the only action I can take, or we can take tonight, is adverse action because you don't have a variance request. I personally, and then you can pull the board, without having a safety plan that we're comfortable with, I'm not inclined to vote in favor of an order of conditions. We'll see what the rest of the board says. I think the safety plan is one of the first things that we discussed a long time ago, and
Well,
we really haven't
safety
seen it.
information has been provided in 4 different occasions, including a consolidated plan in which I requested comments. I did not receive any, so I contacted the chief of police on Friday.
You sent something out looking for comments? I think I've got everything here that you
On
sent me.
August 27th, you, the police chief and the fire chief received a draft document.
Yes, I'm gonna agree with that. Let me just see here. This is the first narrative.
In response to our last conversations in the
Hold on, let me
previous
just- let me
meeting,
just-
I did consolidate, made that a little more concise and more direct, speaking to the concerns that each of the town officials have brought up. So I believe it's a more workable document, and you just received that this evening.
Okay.
So specifically, the safety plan has, information has been provided. We have had a number of dialogues. We are being very responsive to the concerns and agree that a safety plan needs to be in place, and completely understand that needs to be agreed to prior to the start of work. But in regard to the order, our concerns are if the order isn't issued and we don't start the 10-day appeal period, we're going to miss an opportunity to conduct the work. So we would like to continue to work with everybody in town on
I
a
can-
safety plan that is outside the jurisdiction of the conservation, frankly.
That's okay. I think that the Conservation Commission is the only oversight to what you're doing, and we really don't want to be the oversight. We want you to go in and do whatever you need to do to clean up the area. But we did request a safety plan. You can argue the details if you don't think that, you don't like the safety plan, but I think it's important, having experienced or knowing what has happened in Hanover, and we've spent time with those representatives so that we didn't have an instant replay of what happened in
We
here. But
agree, which
okay,
is,
hold on. It's okay.
we're not
So-
arguing that point.
Okay, so at this point, I haven't seen a safety plan, and if you did something Friday, it
On
wouldn't.
August 27th, I sent a draft document out to you and the
Yeah.
other chiefs in town. I called the police chief Friday to have a conversation because I hadn't seen any comments from anybody. He's the primary, decision maker in terms of some aspects of the plan. So I believe we had a very fruitful conversation. We're on the same page. He was in agreement with, the approach. I took that information and rewrote the plan to be specific to a shorter version that's more concise, that I think hits on the exact concerns that have been discussed along the way. So that has now been reissued today. So we've provided safety plan information in a number of forms, including starting with, an informal memo and an in-person meeting. So we are working on the safety plan. We have been responsive, and we do agree that it's important. We also agree that it needs to be agreed upon before we start work. But we're asking the commission to consider issuing the order so that we can keep that process moving, the timeline under consideration, while we all agree to the safety plan.
Okay, I'll just give you my opinion. I am not comfortable with any of that. I think we should have a safety plan. The newest little development is the fact that we're getting into hunting season. We don't know where you're gonna store the materials. We don't know how you're gonna post it for hunting season. That should be part of the safety plan. If none of us have seen it, and like I say, if you sent it tonight, I did not see it. I do recall, I thought I had everything here. Maybe the August 27th one. But anything that you would have talked to with public safety officials, and I have been in touch with them, not since Friday, but I have spoken with them. And again, A, I need a variance request. B, I'm not comfortable.
Well,
If you want
the variance
to.
request was forwarded, and we can resend that, so that, I don't understand why you don't have that, but
Okay,
in regard to the
I-
safety plan, we are in agreement that it's a necessary item, and we are actively developing it to meet the town requirements. And, it's not there's no argument there.
Okay.
We think that the commission could act to include an order condition that says it must be agreed upon. If you extend your jurisdiction to the safety plan, then we can agree that the order contains a requirement
Okay.
to have it agreed to before we start work. Our concern is that with another continuance, or, not acting now, we're not gonna, be able to meet the timeline that's required for the project.
Having noted that, I'm still, I'm not comfortable at all with the fact that I don't have a variance, so I can't take a variance request personally. It's gotta be in writing, okay?
It
What
was
happened, I'm
provided
not
in
sure what
writing.
happened with it.
Mhm.
If it went into the office, typically I get all the emails, she would have put the request in the folder. So that's one major problem that we have. So there's no mechanism right now for this commission to allow you to work within the 50 feet. That's the first problem. Second problem is the safety plan. Let me just defer what some of the other members think. Because I think procedurally, we can't do it. Any comments?
The variance with ecosystem, was it? Like, she worked with ecosystems on the variance?
I don't know. Yeah.
I haven't seen that either, the ecosystems back and forth document. She said she gave it to ecosystems, is that correct?
There were a number of emails that included Mr. Diaz with conversations CC between myself, Mr. Diaz, and Ecosystems that included the variance request. We provided it to the town's consultant, which was our understanding, was our instructions leaving the last meeting with what we would call a to-do list of items that the commission was asking for. We had a follow-up conversation with Mr. Faniff the next day. We went through the bullet list, we prepared the necessary items, and we provided them. So our understanding was the commission had it, but I can confirm for you that a variance request was submitted.
Good.
No, that's,
Paul and I went to Hanover. So Paul, you can share your thoughts. Just procedure-wise, I don't see procedure-wise where we can take a vote. But you have any comments or any
The only concern I have is the safety. He was very adamant about that. The gentleman we talked about, it has to be people that watch people to make sure everything's being done that said it's being done.
Okay, and may I ask, who is it that you're referring to, that you spoke with? Who is he?
The Tetra Tech.
So
Tetra Tech.
a consultant on the Hanover project?
They are doing the Hanover project.
Right.
The gentleman that we spoke to is a UXO specialist, he's in charge of the project.
Yep.
I am familiar, I do a lot of work in Hanson, so I know some of the background on the fireworks, and I did reach out to people that I knew, and I've spoken to a geologist, and then he recommended to talk to this gentleman, so that we did. And basically there was ideas that I had that I found that just didn't make sense for that type of project. Meaning, a fireman or paramedic there when they're digging, okay? And his response is, we do ammunition disposal with a fire department 4 hours away. So based on that, my recommendation to the fire chief was, and we really don't need anybody there. But he spent some time explaining the quality assurance plan and the quality control plans, which did make sense because it takes, the UXO people are gonna be required to report, I don't know that it needs to be on a daily basis, but they're gonna report the quality insurance, they're gonna make sure that the work is done. That's gonna minimize the amount of inspections that we're gonna have to perform, because all we're really interested in is make sure the wetlands are back to some normalcy. And we don't have any of that. And I don't have a variance request in front of me, so.
Well, I don't know what to say to that, because we
Okay,
submitted.
so
it.
you
And with regard to
have, the option you
I
have,
have a copy of it in my hand, which I
Okay.
can hand you, but it was provided to you, to
Okay.
the commission through your consultant as requested at the last hearing. So
Oh.
I don't know what to say and why that you didn't receive it.
Okay.
We also provided an environmental monitoring plan, which speaks to the proposed inspections, which you also mentioned as an item that wasn't provided.
I think
And
you,
in regard to the safety plan and the specific aspects of how the work is to be conducted, that's why we hired a seasoned professional UXO company who does this all over the country as their line of work. In regard to the safety plan, we agree, it's an important element. And there's still some conversations that need to be conducted to make sure that everybody's on the same page with that. There's no argument there. We're just asking to move the process forward so that we can actually undertake the project, because if we can't do that, it's not gonna happen.
I've told you procedurally, I don't have a variance request in front of me. So, but
Well, that-
okay.
but
I haven't
It's not
seen-
our failure at
Okay.
that,
Okay,
you know.
if you provided it to him, that's not the right course of action. Your instructions, I believe, was try to come up with some sort of order of conditions that everybody could work with.
Which we
That would be the extent of,
Which we also provided to
Okay.
your consultant.
so Ecosystems did in fact provide that. But why you were saying that's neither here nor there. The predicament is, I don't have a variance request. Your alternative is the requested 2-week continuance, get that request into the office. Your safety plan should be done by then. I'm not comfortable with voting without a safety plan, but it's your project. If you want to take the risk, that's up to you. I am not comfortable.
We are perfectly comfortable in terms of proceeding with the project. There's been, just for the commission's benefit, many, frankly, a couple of years of discussions leading into this project and how to conduct it, how best to undertake it, the requirements for it. So we are here in front of you now, but we're not doing it lightly. It's something that we and our consultant, our sub-consultant, has had many conversations about, and there's been, a lot of thinking about it and information exchange that isn't necessarily reflected in this forum. So
Okay.
we understand your concerns, but, we have addressed that. We've had conversations with Mass DEP. I've had follow-up conversations after we met the last time with Sergeant Pauls from the Mass State Police Bomb Squad. We are not undertaking the project lightly, and we believe that, the protocols are in place, but they're dynamic. If there's a different condition in the project than what is planned for, we will either stop work or adjust the protocol. So we need to get on the site and understand what's there and respond to it. We aren't ignoring the fact that there may be a potential for materials. We're preparing procedures and policies in the event that there is.
Okay, it's your call, Ms. Susan.
Well-
It's,
Yeah, at time as an assessment, I can see why you
Yeah.
wanna, but we can't rush this too fast, like 1 or 2 meetings and boom, it's done. Like, we need to see the variance, like, I haven't seen it, I like to see it, absorb it, then vote on it.
I
Like,
have a
possibly
copy
next
of it
week.
with me. I don't know if
Yeah.
you're able to take it
Why would-
tonight, but
Was it 2 weeks? Yeah, be next meeting for us to possibly vote on it.
we voted to close the hearing,
was
so.
closed last week,
Yeah, the hearing was closed last week.
Yeah.
So we've got 21 days to
or
issue.
two weeks ago, it was
Six,
closed.
okay. So we've got 21 days to issue an order.
Which is
And,
next Tuesday, I believe.
correct. So at this point, I don't have a variance request, I don't have a safety plan. Option is either continue it, or you can ask us for a vote. That's your call. I think we've heard, we understand that you need to get it done. One of the issues, and I don't know that this was addressed with public safety, is we got hunting season coming up.
And I understand.
That's okay,
Yeah,
so,
And as we've advised our sub-consultant accordingly.
so,
in-
but
in
without,
regard to-
us knowing, and we're the permit granting authority, without us knowing what you, and I'm not talking about what you're doing, how you dig it, that's irrelevant as far as I'm concerned, I think the commission's concerned. We just want a plan in place. If the public safety part of it, you never use it, at least we have a plan in place. It's your call. You either want to continue it or you want to go to a vote.
I'm unclear what you're asking, but what I would like is the commission to vote to issue the order of conditions with the understanding that we agree a safety plan still needs to be worked out. We have no intent on starting work on the project until that is the case. And there are still a number of steps to go. But we do understand the hearing was closed, that the 21-day time clock, I believe, is next Tuesday. Do you need to vote this evening in order to meet the 21-day timeline?
We need to vote. You either need to provide us with a safety plan, which we've requested many times, so that we, as the appointing authority, have some idea as to what's going on out there, all right? When we're not asking to do a site visit, so I think it's important for us to know what's happening out there since we're issuing the permit. That hasn't happened. We haven't got a variance request, so we did close the hearing, but at this point, we've got the option of indicating or just issuing an order that we don't have enough information and we can deny the notice of intent. And then you can appeal that if you want to. But based on my impression, is that I don't have enough information to issue an order of conditions. So,
Well, unfortunately, we didn't receive any comments from the safety plan we did provide on August 27th.
Okay.
I did receive comments by virtue of contacting the police chief last Friday. We have now incorporated those into a safety plan. So that plan is now in the hands of all the town officials, and we're welcoming comments, and we'll revisit it and revise it accordingly immediately. In regard to the variance request, it was submitted, and I don't know why it didn't make it to your desk, but we will
Again,
resubmit that.
you said it's all public, all town officials. I haven't seen it, you know, I have not seen it.
It was issued today, so you probably haven't seen it yet. It's in your email.
So what you're asking me is to make a decision based on something that I haven't seen. So I'm just gonna ask you again, if you want to ask us for a continuance, fine. If you don't, then we have to move to a vote.
If we go to a continuance, which is 2 weeks from now, and then there's a 10-day waiting period, it is my opinion that we will potentially likely miss our opportunity to utilize this subcontractor and execute this work based on what I heard from our subcontractor today and their schedule. Because without our ability to give them a commitment, they will take other projects that they have in demand. So
The only thing that I can comment on the 10-day appeal period, my experience is I've never seen one appealed during the appeal period. Typically, an appeal is going to be looking for superseding orders. I mean, I think at your own discretion, you can work within the appeals period. We don't have a problem with that. I personally have not seen any or heard of any litigation based on you starting the project prior. Can I just,
an
hold
order
on.
that requires a safety plan.
If you, okay, I have a floor, so if, I'm not inclined, without looking at the safety plan, to vote in the affirmative on any orders conditions. If you provide us the safety plan, and the order conditions are all seem to be acceptable, then there's no reason that we cannot, at our next meeting, vote to approve that order of conditions. But they gotta be here so that they can be sent to each member of the board. So you can't send something tonight and expect everybody to see it. So that would be my suggestion.
Well, again,
So-
I sent
okay.
something on August 27th requesting comments. We didn't receive any. It was our understanding at the last meeting that the agreement was, yes, we needed a safety plan, but the commission has the capability to include an order requiring it, but the specifics of it are to be vetted with town safety officials and all parties that have an interest. And it can be agreed to prior to the start of work. That was our understanding. So it is not the case that we didn't respond to the requirements of the safety plan or submit anything for review. We also did provide additional information that was requested at the last meeting.
Okay, it's your call. Now, whatever you wanna do, I will take a vote on whatever you wanna do. Like I said, the best thing I think we can do is if we get everything all together, there's no reason, I don't believe, that if we had the order of conditions and they were all completely vetted, and there's really nothing special in the order of conditions other than inspections, which should be vetted, that we couldn't sign off next week.
Did your consultant provide you with the draft order? Because that was also our understanding that that would have been the case. You provided the draft conditions that were requested of us.
I'm going to say yes.
I don't know, because we haven't received anything ourselves, but
Well, he would have. Yeah, I'm not gonna guess, you know, I probably got a dozen emails today.
the reason I ask is if there isn't a draft order and there's additional time required there, then there may be another, if we extend at the next meeting, the commission may say we don't have a draft order.
We can have a draft
So,
order.
I'm just looking for a timeline, given that we've been responsive.
Again, I'll repeat myself.
I don't see a problem, like, if we do continue it, and if everything is in order, that we should vote on our next meeting without, like,
That's my feeling.
but like he says, we can't, I feel comfortable voting on something I haven't seen, so. I understand your point, you sent it, but I haven't seen it. If there's any, we won't, I don't think we'll change the goalpost at the next meeting, right?
So it would be 21 days from the next meeting in which the commission would take to issue the order?
No, what I said was this, if this is continued and the safety plan, we get that right away. We can vet that safety plan with all these people here, get back to ecosystems, have him come up with a draft order of conditions that's gonna be suitable. I'll review them, I'll make sure that our public safety people review them, and at this point, I don't know that there's a lot of public safety issues. I haven't talked to Chief Chaz or Chief Witham other than last week, but I think this public safety part of it's gonna be small. There's no reason that I would think that ecosystems could not provide us at our next meeting with an order of conditions that we can sign off on. If they come here soon enough, you know, they can't come the night of the meeting, then everybody will vet them and we'll vote on them. The order of conditions will come to me, then we'll look at them. If there's any questions, I'll go over them with ecosystem, any concerns, and then get them to the board. Because we won't have an agent, the agent's not gonna do it. So again, it's your call.
What manner should we resubmit the documents that were already submitted and any new information so all the board members are receiving it?
Everything should go to the conservation office. Everything you send should go to the
Which I
conservation
believe it is,
office.
But I don't have my email open, so I can't confirm, but I just want to make sure that.
It's
Yeah.
Peggy
Double
Sullivan.
check. Yeah.
Yeah,
Peggy, so.
and you can always CC me, and whoever is relevant. If it's something, the problem is, I think if it's relevant to conservation, it should come here. If it's relevant to public safety, you can send it to them, but, you know, these guys, they have, I don't wanna be frank, but better things to do. They're looking for our guidance on what to do over there. We need to know what's gonna happen if there's an accident, and hoping there isn't. So we will always forward for any additional comments to Chief Witham and Chief Chaps. So we come up with an order of conditions. They're gonna tell us what they're gonna be looking for, based on the tidbits that I'm getting. You know, we're not gonna need too much public safety personnel on site, other than, and this has to be vetted, if you do find some munitions, then that's gonna have to be protected 24 hours. And then you need to address the hunting part of it, how you're gonna handle that. And then you're gonna need to address to us the storage of whatever munitions you find and how that's gonna be stored, you know, in a fenced-in area. However, that's all we really need to know.
Yeah, and that is all in the written plan.
Okay.
So when
Okay.
commission members receive it, you'll be able
Yeah.
to.
Okay, then that's fine, then that's what we should have. I think, is there anything else that the commission, I mean,
No, because I have nothing else right now. I'm not gonna ask for different things at our next meeting, obviously,
No.
because just keep pushing everything back,
we,
so.
we want you to do what you have to do, but this is the only board that I think has got any oversight, so, we just wanna make sure that, the 911 system doesn't, get overwhelmed when all of a sudden something blows up out there.
Yeah, and where, once you see the document,
Yeah.
which we'll make sure to.
Well, then that's fine, then,
So
then,
that if you'd like to have an informal follow-up meeting to discuss any elements of it prior to the next hearing, we're also happy to do that as well. We have been actively trying to, proceed with the process and fully agree that the safety aspect is important.
so you need to remember, if I got a meeting on Tuesday night, you really can't send something to us on Tuesday. I mean, our protocol has been that whatever you need to submit should be submitted at time of agenda, because then it's circulated between the members. Everybody doesn't have, they have full-time jobs or do something. Everybody doesn't have printers to print it all out, so they gotta look at it at their leisure. That's all I can suggest. So what's your pleasure?
It was, again, I received comments on Friday, but it was also our understanding, leaving the last hearing, that it was agreed upon that in order, that the commission required in the order of conditions related to the safety plan, but that the plan would be continuing to be worked out because it involves other town officials and other parties who have an interest in it. So it was not our intent to provide information today that related to a vote. It was to provide additional information as follows. So just for clarity.
And I just want to clarify one thing. Whatever your safety plan it is, I know that's subject to change, but we have some plan into place. That's all we're looking for. If it changes, we're not gonna make it come back to the commission because you can't put the fenced-in area where you put on the plan. We just wanna make sure that everybody's aware of what's going on down there. And if you do have to blow up any of those munitions, okay, the residents in that area are going to be notified. So, again, we spent some time on this. What's your pleasure?
If we can agree that, we're happy to make sure the commission is comfortable with the project, but our only concern is the timeline. So if we can agree that we can be prepared by the next meeting, hopefully to issue an order of conditions, and we're happy to be as responsive as necessary between now and then to receive and respond to comments, amend the safety plan in any way that we all need to agree to. We're also happy to do that. So if we can agree that at the next meeting, we will likely be prepared to issue an order of conditions, I think that's fine.
Yeah, so, want me to put them?
Well, no.
Oh, she has to ask.
You gotta do the motion, and she's gotta sign one of the forms. So, again, it's your call.
Are you asking a specific question?
My question is, do you want to continue this, or do you want us to vote on what we have in front of us?
I agree to continue the hearing.
Okay, that's fine. We have a request to continue the hearing. I don't know that I've got the hearing request forms in there. If I don't have a blank one because we need to vote on them, they'll have to send the request in the morning. Admin is out for the next few days, but you'll CC me, I will get it. So I have a request.
That's, sorry, sure, but that was.
Let me just see if there's a September 9th. Let me just look at these. September 5th. Environmental monitoring plan, September 4th. Okay, let me just. We've got some emails here, September 9th, September 4th, and I have I don't know where this came from, an environmental monitoring plan, and I do have in the file, which was not brought to my attention, request for a variance. Now, this was received September 9th. What's today?
Done.
That was yesterday.
Okay, this was received on the 9th. I don't know when you sent it or how you sent it.
Disagree with that, because it's, but
Okay,
without my computer open, I can't,
okay.
I can
So
forward.
what we're gonna do is
records to the
this.
office.
We'll deal with the variance request. We have the variance request. It's made out to the commission. The request is dated September 4th. The received date in the office is the 9th. And as soon as something comes in, they date it. So that's when we got it. So, I have a motion, I have a request for a variance, excuse me, I have a request for a continuance. I'm gonna be looking for
Motion.
a motion.
I put a motion for 111 River Street to notice of intent continuance to the 24th.
Do I have a second?
A second, yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
May I ask, given the items that you have in the folder, what exactly are still on the list of things? The safety plan?
As far as I can see, it's the safety plan.
Variance
But this is addressed to the commission? This is addressed to the commission September 4th? Obviously, it wasn't emailed because it's dated the 9th. So I don't know when this came in. And this wasn't, and I get all the emails. I get every single email. So this did not come in by email. But having said that, and we've got other things to
I
do.
disagree, but, and I can
That's
provide
right.
the records, so it's
Okay.
irrelevant, but you have.
Yeah, we continue next meeting.
Yeah, we'll go from this. 10-9. Susan, I sent you something this September 9. We're requesting the safety plan, quality control plan, this on September 9th was in response to your question that you didn't know what the quality, what the plans were, and I just responded to that. But that's okay. Well, let's, anything comes to the office, to me and Peggy's. And then you can CC, Brandon, if that's what you're doing. We don't have a problem with that. I would get that safety plan in as soon as possible.
The safety plan is in your hands, so we will be waiting
Yeah, it's
in the.
Yeah,
in
so,
your
yeah, be
hands.
the next meeting, we'll vote on it.
Yeah, we'll vote on it.
It will be, communicating with your commission as well as police and fire on any
Okay.
comments that they have.
All right, so we had a motion and a second, we voted, that's okay. Where are you with a quality assurance and a quality control plan? Do you have any of that?
Have spoken directly after your question. I thought you were asking maybe in regard to the NCP regulations. In
No.
regard to the UXO regulations, the sub-consultant does have a procedure where they include that as part of their work plan. It's not a document that is typically separated and submitted for review, but they will have QA/QC procedures built into their work.
That's the quality assurance, the quality, the
And
quality
this-
control plan is the one that we have no interest in looking at. It's the quality assurance plan that says that you went out, you dug some holes, you fill the holes back in. That's my understanding of the quality assurance plan. And that supposedly is in the CMR that regulates the UXOs. So they're gonna be more familiar with that, but there's gotta be, in the order of conditions, and you should find out from them right away, is how they wanna handle that. If they wanna handle the reporting on a weekly basis, I don't think that we don't need anybody out there every day. If you're gonna dig every day, then at the end of the week, then someone should provide us with a report, and then that can be potentially
Are we
inspected.
talking about restoration under the Wetland Protection Act?
No,
Because that's in
no.
what you received.
We're not talking about restoration. We're not looking for you to do any restoration. All we want is to to make sure that whatever you're doing, you fill the hole back in, very simply, fill the hole back in, and that's it.
And that procedure was spelled out as part of the scope as we planned it, issued with the notice of intent narrative. So it's always been the intent to investigate and backfill, and that's stated in the narrative.
Yeah, you
That's
stated
fine.
at the last meeting.
That's fine. Who tells us that everything you've done is okay? Well, I'm not talking about the bullets. That's your ballgame. Someone needs to say that, okay, you did pinholes, and I'm just assuming because this is the first time for all of us, you excavated 10 areas, you backfilled the 10 areas. There was something in the order conditions, or there was something in one of the emails relative to if you did it in the spring, you had to cut the brush, you didn't want to interfere with some aquatic life or something out there, which you're not gonna do it in the springtime, so that's not an issue. You're gonna dig a hole, you're gonna put hay, straw, whatever on top, that's all we really need. And that's, from what I understand, that's part of the quality assurance. So, and that should be part of what the UXO organization will provide to you.
Well, our plan as written in the notice of intent narrative is to conduct any necessary investigation, backfill at that time, nothing will be left open, and to replace the vegetation that was removed as best to our ability as a plug, if you will.
That's correct.
If for some reason that vegetation can't be reestablished or is not intact, then we would, deal with that individual situation. But as a whole, for the project, the intent is to conduct the hand excavation, evaluate an item if it's a metallic anomaly, backfill that area, and immediately replace the vegetation as a restoration element of the project. So that's been the plan all along, and is written into everything that we've submitted to date.
I'll agree. Who inspects that?
Your consultant has developed or agreed to a inspection schedule, which is in the environmental monitoring plan that was provided. We, Weston and Sampson, also will have a staff member, if you will, looking over our sub-consultant. So it's not a situation where the UXO specialists are on site without any oversight at all. They also are required to document any activity they conduct under our contract with them, the client's contract. So they will be actively documenting what they're doing. So there'll be a big paper trail, if you will, in terms of if anything is found, if an anomaly is identified, and if any excavation occurs because of it, there'll be a lot of record to determine where it occurred, what was found, and that restoration occurred. So that's always been part, of the scope of work from the beginning of the project development.
Okay. We're advised that there's quality assurance people and quality control. So we'll have to address that in the order conditions. All our concern is you do whatever you have to do to dig. If someone will come in, someone from the town, whether it be the consultant or the agent, will come in and inspect whatever you've done. We don't want to get involved with the
Yeah,
rest.
and as one of the to-do items that we left from the last commission meeting, that was an item that was discussed with your consultant. We had a follow-up meeting and developed a proposed schedule for presence on the site.
So that'll be part of the order, that'll be part of the proposed order of conditions. Okay.
Very good.
Tomorrow, please send the request for continuance.
Okay, you have a specific form for that.
I'm gonna vote on that, but like I say, nobody's in the office tomorrow. We're voting on that particular form in a few minutes. So anything, you can address it to me, that you're gonna request, a continuance until our next meeting, which is gonna be 9/24. You can go next meeting, you can go 9/24,
Okay.
whatever language is, and just send that out. And Peggy will document that, put that in the file when she gets in next week. And I will look at that report, whatever you sent tomorrow, and then get back to ecosystems on any questions that I might have. But you have the safety plan. Okay.
Yeah, you've received a draft, what I would call a health and safety plan, which was what was issued on 8/27. I think what my understanding from your comments in the hearings, what I sent you today, is more specific to your questions. So I think if you look at today's document, which is about 10 pages long instead of 50, it's very specific to the items that concern the commission and to the items that I think are of concern to fire and police. And I think it's an easy way for us to continue that dialogue on any of the elements that need to be worked out if there's not an agreement. But before finalizing what was sent today, I did speak to Chief Chavez and got his verbal agreement on the approach.
Okay.
So hopefully we can finalize that.
Okay, we'll look at it when it comes in. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you for your
very
time.
much.
Okay, next order of business is Hope for Halifax Conservation Commission. First of all,
Should we,
I'm not
we can bounce around, yeah, we can.
yeah, we can bounce around. I have no idea what you're here for. So
She's,
if you've been here-
Home Street, right?
I am, I'm here for 285 Home Street, I represent the applicant.
Okay, so let me, okay. 285 Elm Street is up for discussion purposes only, but I'm gonna ask you to go to the mic, identify yourself, and we'll try to answer any questions that you have.
That is- Good evening, my name is Ann Soboleski, I represent Liddell Development LLC, the property owner at 285 Home Street. So when I saw this was on the agenda, I wanted to make sure to come down and meet with the commission. Back in March of this year, there were complaints that were made about stormwater runoff on the property. And I came down, it was the March 21st commission meeting, talked to the commission and indicated that as the property owner was gonna retain an engineer and was gonna come up with a stormwater management plan for the property in order to address the situation. In the meantime, at that meeting, the commission asked if we would do something to try and stop the runoff while we were getting the design done. So we put a bunch of hay bales, if you've driven by, you've seen them, we put a bunch of hay bales to stop any water from running out into the street. And I went to the following commission meeting with the information about the hay bales to accomplish that. And since that happened, we retained an engineer, we've developed a stormwater management plan, we filed for the permit. Right before I left to come here at 4:30, the town's review engineer reviewed our plan. He had 6 comments, so I've already passed those along to our engineer so that we can address them when the application actually gets open before the commission. We would like to be in a position, because there have been complaints, because we're trying to solve the problem, that we've actually proactively looked at what your review engineer said, addressed it, so that when we come in for the hearing, we'll have responded to his issues. And our engineer says that he can do that. He had one question that he wanted to talk to Pat about. He knows him, and he would follow up with him.
Okay. I don't know if the board's got any comments, because they probably didn't see that review.
No, I didn't see the review yet from.
Okay, just so that you know, I've been actively working for a few months on the 285 Home Street problem. The matter was referred to council, and we kind of changed things. But I'm gonna tell you what our procedure is, and I did see the review, and there might be 6 items, but it's very extensive. The issue with 285 has been ongoing, so we're hoping that through the process, you can resolve that for, the highway department and the neighbors. But our procedure for stormwater is this, is you submit the application, we have it reviewed. That is sent to all of our department heads, as highway and police and bill inspector or someone else. And that was done once, and then I requested that go out again. So that went out again today. We have the review. Once the review issues are all resolved, then the board will take a vote that the permit, is ready to move forward. At that point, we will schedule a public hearing, and you'll notify the abutters accordingly. So we're not quite there. The review, you saw 6 items. To me, they were very extensive. So you need to get that addressed. Once those are addressed, you can either come in, or we'll put it back on the agenda that the application is completed and we will schedule a public hearing.
Okay, so just so I understand, so you want us to respond to the review engineer before the public hearing happens?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's good.
That's how stormwater works. It's different than the other ones, but that's how it works.
Yeah, because
Everything is
you
gonna-
come and go in and out, so.
Yeah, everything is gonna be fully vetted.
Okay, well, that's definitely something we can do, we were planning on doing that anyway, so.
Okay.
I understand.
So I can tell you now that you probably won't get a hearing until October.
Okay, no, that's fine, that I understand, because we want to make sure that everything is addressed so that we can move forward. But we are sensitive to the timing, we want to make sure that we
Okay.
move forward and do something proactively to solve the problem.
Okay.
So-
You got a question?
No, no.
Okay. One of the concerns that I had when I read the application is you filed for a minor based on a disturbance area. Quite frankly, I don't agree with that, but that's up to the commission. I do not see that project as being a minor stormwater project. But you filed the application, that's your call. I've read the complete file. I've read every complaint. I've read all the comments. I reviewed the original plans that were submitted for the drainage. And again, I'll let, review do his thing, but I'm just gonna tell you that personally, I don't think you're in a situation where you're in a minor stormwater. And I think you'll find that from the comments today, you're in two aquifers. So not only are you in Mount Ponce, you're in Silver Lake. So I think you really need to look at that application so that you don't get it fully vetted, and then we can't take any action on it based on the fact that it's the wrong type of application. It's just my suggestion.
All right, well, no, I'll definitely take that back to the review engineer. I mean, he does.
Not to review, it's your guy.
Oh, okay,
It's-
so
it's
you're,
your-
just so that I understand, so you are taking the position that work that was previously done on the property prior to the adoption of the regulations triggers a major application?
I'm saying that
I just want to understand.
Okay. I'm saying that the work that's been done on the property doesn't warrant a minor stormwater application, or the type of work. And you can read our regulations. So you've applied based on the fact that you're only disturbing less than 43,000 square feet. I think you could make a reasonable argument that since 2019 or 20, whenever they went in there, that they've disturbed probably somewhere around 70,000 square feet. I haven't done the math. So you filed for a minor. That could be a problem. So I think your engineers should look at that, because the area that was previously disturbed has not been controlled. So there's still some impact from that area that's going to impact the 35,000 square feet that you're saying that you're going to disturb now.
Yeah, the only disturbance currently is for the installation of the system to solve the problem. I will say that the review engineer computed the stormwater management calculations to account for the prior condition of the property so that there would be no runoff from that prior condition before any work had been done on the property at any point in time. So from a mathematical calculation perspective, the system has been designed to address that past work. But I understand what you're saying. It's the opinion that because there was past work on the property, regardless of when it happened, we would be triggering that major component, and you want us to make a major filing instead of a minor filing based on that past work. I understand what you're saying, and I'll take that back to the property owner, and I'll see what he has to say about that.
And you can make a reasonable argument. We know that we adopted our regulations, the stormwater regulations, back in 2021, I believe. And it might have been after he started the project. But MS4 and stormwater regulations have been in since 2006. So I don't know if we want to get into a debate on post and pre-development. We have a problem out there, as you know.
Right.
To me, I would just get it addressed so that you don't file for under the minimum, and then you're denied. Now you got to refile again for a regular stormwater. It's my only suggestion, just to save your step.
Yeah, and I can certainly appreciate where you're coming
Okay.
from there. And as I said, this is an instance where this particular property owner is making an effort to try and solve this problem. The design is endeavored to solve the problem. We're not here pretending that there isn't a problem or pretending that it doesn't exist. And we've actually moved pretty quickly since I got involved in March. March 21st was the first time I came to a hearing to say that we were gonna put up the hay bales, and they were up the next week. They were up before the next Conservation Commission meeting. We hired an engineer, we designed a plan, we made a submission. So it's not a situation where people are pretending that there isn't a problem. It is a problem that we are trying to address. But if it's the position of the commission that we need to file a different application, we'll certainly consider that.
Thank you, I'm glad. I mean, we will work with you in any way because we do want the file's very thick with all the complaints, so we do want it to go with.
Right.
Oh, any board members got anything for her before she done?
No, that's it.
Okay, you've been involved a little bit more with the 285 issue than.
Yeah, she came from the commission, I think before you were
Yeah.
appointed, yeah. And she has addressed it like she just stated.
Okay.
We told her, like, the hay things, like, control it now, because it was during the heavy rain season too. But it was really affecting the road, flooding it a little. They addressed it, granted, we haven't had any major storms since then to really test it, but.
Well, my backyard would differ with you. I live one town over, but.
Oh, I know.
Okay, all right. Good, hopefully we can work together and get that resolved.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna get to Mrs. Algen, she can stay if she wants to. As indicated earlier, 340 Plymouth Street, the only question is the start date is whether they're going to Pembroke first or Halifax first. That's the only update that I got for you.
Okay.
But we know it's getting done, it's just a matter
Sometime
of,
in September,
that's what I've been told.
that's good.
Fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
And for some reason, they're doing the traffic count today. And just so you know, in talking with the highway department, we want to make sure, the first process is they're going to come in and they're going to heat up that pavement that's there. And then they come in, they put new pavement on top. Well, the second contractor is the one that's responsible for raising all the catch basins. So Steve was trying to coordinate to see, because with the heating process, they can increase the road height. He's just not sure that they can do some of it and the paving do the rest, or let the paving company do it all.
Okay, just as long as it's done.
Yeah, Steve has been on vacation, but I sat with him Tuesday. Yeah, we're working.
Good, thank you.
Okay, I don't know if you had a question.
No.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, let's go back to Hope in Halifax. We got an email, it's in the file.
Yeah, I see, yeah.
Hope in Halifax, and they are an organization that is promoting, I believe, the community preservation. So I've asked them to come in on the 24th, along with the Stump Brook cleanup, to make their presentation, to see if we can assist them in any way. You know, I think one of the things with community preservation is, and some other towns have done it, you know, you can develop areas where they can sit, park the car, walk through the woods. There's a bunch of different things. So we will talk to them on the 24th.
And at some point, I think I read an email, they want us to vote to see how the whole board feels on the matter. Like, I thought I read that in the email.
Okay, you could have, I read the email. My understanding is that,
I have no problem with that, don't get me
right,
wrong.
my understanding they're gonna make a presentation. I think if
They
they,
might put a request
if
in.
if they do a request for us to vote, then we'll make a decision at
Okay.
that time. Okay. Training for board members. In our file, on June 25th, 24, and I'm not really clear on this, but I just want to bring it to everybody's attention that as members, you are.
Have a great day.
Thanks.
Thank you, good night. As members, that we're gonna be required to do, this particular one is gonna be 1.2, that all members of the commission shall complete the following below. Orientation for new commissioners, and then fundamentals for conservation commissioners. This was only the second time I've seen it, and did see one come out. So I just want to keep it on the radar, we'll keep it on the agenda so that we can make sure that everybody gets that done.
Quick question on those, each, like part A, part B, how long are those sessions for and what kind of?
No idea. I did see this when it came out, but I'm not the greatest with the computers. I will spend some time on it, and when I find out, I'll let you know. I can't see it being any longer than the,
Is it more like a compliancy type thing? I'm not sure.
well,
I know this information, educational information.
it's probably more educational, where I haven't seen it,
Yeah.
and don't know at this point.
I mean, what would be,
It's probably the same as the open meeting law, something we can take, you know, on an afternoon. Not sure, but, you know, I'll make it a point.
oh, you should ask them if we're gonna be financially compensated for our time.
Yeah. Okay. We'll put it in the bills. Okay. We have, I just don't know where they are. Okay. In our folder, Peggy took the time and drafted 3 forms. I'm gonna ask that you take a look at the 3 forms. Once you get them all, just let me know. Okay, got 'em all? Okay. First one being letter of mutual agreement for extension. This is on the stormwater management. Stormwater management is time sensitive as far as closing the hearing and issuing orders. And sometimes, as we did earlier tonight, it takes some time for us to get the orders drafted and so forth. So with this agreement, anytime during the meeting process or hearing process, this allows the applicant to get an extension. And these are probably letters that should have been in somewhere in our system, because, you know, we're always doing extensions. The next one is a notice of intent. Again, under our bylaws, we only have 21 days is the maximum that we can extend continuances. So again, this letter would allow that continuance so that we don't get into a situation where we didn't vote and they get a constructive grant. Let me just step back. Constructive grants are really part of stormwater management. If you don't act within that time frame, you get a constructive grant and they can do whatever they originally proposed. Our last one is a letter of mutual agreement for withdrawal, which we used earlier in the day on the 2 projects that had been lingering along. Basically what this allows is the applicant to withdraw. He does keep his DEP number, and once he reapplies, then he's not obligated to pay any more fees. But it'll get it off the agenda until we get, a lot of these have had lots of bugs in them.
So, yeah, plus it'll be on record that he has a DEP number, it makes it much,
Yeah, the DEP number, and then we have something in writing. So I would be looking for a motion to approve the 3 letters of mutual agreement.
I go to motion that we adopt the 3 letters of agreements for the stormwater management.
Okay, do I hear a second?
I second, yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's 3-0. And I'll let her know that we're okay with all these. Okay, on enforcement order, we agreed to table that to the next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, we have bills.
Well, fine.
Okay, our first bill, we can do them, if somebody wants to make a motion to do them
All
all.
at once, we used to do it all at once.
That's fine, that's okay with me, I don't think anybody's gonna complain. So I'm looking for a motion to to pay 3 bills, 265 Monpont Street, 266 Monpont Street, and 19 White Island Road.
I put a motion that we pay the bills.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. Okay, this. You're okay with signing? Do I need something? Okay, just to clarify your motion, we're gonna pay all the bills, all the bills.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, and that's gonna be including all the Haywood Street Hill lines, NPGD in okay,
Yeah, thanks.
I'm fine with that.
The Express, newspapers.
Yeah, first and second page. When you're
A few
ready.
more signatures.
Say what?
A few more signatures on here for.
Did I miss something?
Yeah. Well, I think, I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry, Paul. You missed this one. There's 3 in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's 3 in here. I'm sorry.
All right, we paid bills, minutes.
Yeah, I'm looking at these now. Okay. I did read these when they come in.
Yeah, I got an email about them.
Yeah, and I am okay with them, and I'll be looking for a motion shortly. Sure, let me stop that. Okay, we're gonna do meeting minutes,
13th.
meeting minutes for August 13th, 2024. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking for a motion to approve these minutes. And then Kathy can sign off on them next week. I will make the motion, and if you don't want, I'll have you second it. I'll make a motion to approve the August 13th, 2024 meetings.
I'll second the
I'll second
motion.
that. Paul, in this particular case, you weren't a member of the board.
Correct.
Go to a vote, and I'll have you abstain if you don't have a problem.
Right.
So I'm going to the vote. Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Abstain.
So let's go, 3, no, 2. You don't want to sign it on? 2, 1. Okay, last item on our agenda is going to be we're going to review the planning board's September 4th decision on the Thorndike developments. We just want to, we'll put it in the record that we did review it. I don't know if anybody's got any questions on it. The board did approve it. 3 to 1. That's the site plan. You can take
I
that.
already read that.
Okay, I think on this one, I think we'll just acknowledge the fact that we read it. I don't know that we need to vote.
Yeah, we don't need to
because
vote on it,
you
because
know,
they just said.
we just acknowledge the fact that we read it. just so that you know, what happens is, as these come around, some of the boards and committees say, yeah, okay, we don't have anything to say about it, but unfortunately, it's getting so picky now, and that's why we had to send 285 Home Street out again, is we do need some comments, so.
Right.
Okay, based on that, I am looking for a motion to adjourn.
Oh, that's your honor.
It being 8:46, who wants to make that motion?
I'll
Okay, Paul makes the motion,
Motion to-
second.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
3-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yep.